Good afternoon. Welcome to the Parenting Versus podcast. It is a Saturday afternoon, spring. It's nice weather today, actually.
Yeah, they keep saying it's supposed to rain, but I don't know. Every time I think it might, then it kind of sunnies up again.
Yeah, it's we have some storm clouds around, which is kind of nice, and been
Now
crossing my fingers, but
like either coffee or a mixed drink, depending on the ratio of sun to cloud. I don't know yet.
Yeah, we might have some extra mixed drink stuff.
Oh, we definitely have a handle of vodka left.
Yeah, we had a game night last night.
Yeah.
But, so maybe we'll grab something. But.
Yeah, I bought, it was called 8 Neighbors vodka. I've never heard of it. Apparently it's cheap. A whole handle
neighbors,
was like...
If you have a handle of vodka, you have 8 neighbors all of a sudden.
Well, they're all pitching in, so it's super cheap. Yeah. No, but seriously, it wasn't bad. We made vodka basil smashes last night and had games, and people brought delicious, delicious food.
Right.
And it was fun. It was a good time, so... Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah, we had a chance to test out one of my friend's board games, which, shout out to Manatee Board Games. Is that what
Bananatee.
Bananatee. So
it's a manatee and a banana together.
Yes. My friend Sean, he's always been a creative person. He draws, he oh, hang on.
No.
Pause or what?
No, explain. I'm going to grab his card.
Oh, okay. Lindsay's going to grab his business card. But, anyways, he's always been a creative person. He draws, he does comic books. When I was in college with him, he had a like online, like a digital comic called The Moustache, Mr. Moustache, I think it was. Sean, if you're listening, I'm sorry if I messed that up. But yeah, it was like a steampunk sort of thing, comic book. It was really funny. But yeah, so the board game we played last night was really fun. I think it was called... Mystic Pizza. Mystic Pizza is what it was called. And I felt really bad because, we had our kids around and I was like, trying to parent, but at the same time I was trying to learn a new board game. So they were kind of making fun of me for, not really listening or paying attention, or, when we were in the middle of the board game, I was asking questions that had already been answered. So, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it. So if you like board games, follow Sean's board game thing on the social medias, the Instagrams, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. So that was fun. We also played a game that was not developed by Sean, but is still pretty fun, which is Cards Against Humanity. So that was fun.
Our 6-year-old cornered me in the kitchen and started asking for snacks.
Okay.
And then I gave him some snacks. And he
What
said,
on earth are you drinking?
Well, I'd like to call it iced... Oh, my gosh. Look at all those grounds on the bottom. I'd like to call it iced coffee, but really it's just coffee that's cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Lindsay, 10 minutes later, came back with the card, and it's Bananatee Games. And you can follow him on the, social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the same handle, at Bananatee Games. So it's banana, like, regular banana, and then T-E-E, Games. So yeah, good job, Sean, on your board game. We had a lot of fun. So that was cool. We had a good time.
Yeah, it was... I didn't actually play that one. I was busy feeding...
Yeah, it was a 4-player game, and it was me, Sean, and a couple of others.
So it went pretty well?
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Nice. Casey and Amy, our friends Casey and Amy, they're really into board games, so they caught on pretty quickly.
They're good
puzzle solvers?
Board game testers.
Board game testers, yeah.
What's the like the prototype?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a name for that? Pilot testers?
Yeah, pilot.
Sure.
So
is that a thing? I have my sunglasses and there's little fingerprints all over them.
There's little fingerprints on everything we own.
I know.
But that's what happens when you have little kids. They just get their tiny little hands on everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, being a parent to, we say this all the time, but being a parent to little ones is tough.
Yeah.
we had some other friends who have older kids. I'm like, yeah, I remember the hopelessness of parenting little ones. I'm like, oh, so it gets better? I'm like, yes, it gets way better.
When they can all wipe their own butts, I feel like I'm going to be really like a happy camper at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
That's sort of like the bane of my existence right now. Is like,
sure.
I have to keep wiping your butt.
Well, right now they're for sure the cutest they'll ever be.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're also the most needy they'll ever be.
I do like how our 2 almost 3-year-old is going through a naked phase again. I thought we were past this, but I guess like.
Well, here's the deal. The other day when he got naked, and he just tells me, "Daddy, I'm gonna take my pants off." I'm like, okay. He's 2. He'll be 3 next month. You just said that.
Yeah.
But when I pick him up from your mom is, I guess, piloting the regular chonies. No.
Side note,
pull up.
For those of you that don't know what chonies are, because you're not New Mexican.
Underwear. Okay. Undies. So she's got little whitey tighties on him. I guess they're not whitey tighties. They have like patterns and like whatever. So he came home with those, and I was like, okay, cool. That's fun. But he peed in his pants on the way home. And he came home, and I was like, hey, bud, go to the bathroom. Go take off your pants. Let's get cleaned up, and let's try this again. So I put the undies on him again. And he was walking around. You're hearing a kid, too, but I don't think it's our kid.
Yeah.
I think it's a neighborhood kid.
Wild, free-ranging, roaming child.
Free. There's a lot of free-range stuff in our neighborhood, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, he was just hanging out, and he peed in his pants. He's like, Dad, I'm all wet.
Well,
like, okay, go take your pants off, and let's give it another go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of his deal with taking off his pants.
He just likes to be naked. He likes to roam around in the backyard and practice peeing, because that's what little boys do.
Yeah. He also doesn't like to be wet either. But you would think that would help him with his potty training, but it's not.
Yeah. Juliet will tell me now if she's dirty. She doesn't like to be dirty either, and she'll be like, I pooped. And I'm like, well, thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think I kind of want a beer now.
You can grab one. I've got my coffee. I can put some vodka in this.
I don't know if you can. Vodka and coffee might not.
Yeah. You can. You make White Russians with vodka. Why would vodka and coffee not work?
I don't know. You could try it.
People do it all the time.
You could try it.
People put Kahlua in coffee.
like the concoction you wanted to do last night, vodka and Coke. I don't know anybody who does that.
Oh, please.
So we kind of...
Oh, please.
We kind of...
Haven't you had a Black Russian before?
I don't believe so.
Well, that's a thing.
So...
It's a thing.
Oh, excuse me. There's a Deschutes and there's 2 Guinness. Which one do you not want?
I will have a Guinness. You can have the Deschutes.
Okay, Oregon.
It's a Black Butte Porter is what it is. So yes, rep that Oregon beer while we can. Although we rep some New Mexican beers too. But yeah, we're just sitting here enjoying the day. I feel like we're always on this swing on Saturdays because it's nap time, and I don't know. Lorenzo took the kids to the excuse me, the aquarium today, and gave me some time to kind of like organize and straighten some things out, which was nice. I may have gone through the kids' toys and found a trash bag for the ones they don't play with to take to donate somewhere, because I'm so tired of like literally like buckets of toys getting dumped out and just left, and then it's like, okay, you're not actually playing with these, you're just dumping them out and making it my problem. So I think that there will be a trip to Savers at some point this weekend where I can drop them off, which is awesome.
Drop who off?
Accomplished.
Drop who off?
Don't worry about it.
Lindsay likes to throw stuff away and then buy new stuff.
No, not toys. No, not toys. No, I went through a bunch of the kids' toys and put the stuff that they absolutely don't play with, like that just ends up on the floor for no reason. That stuff. Because there's some of it where they're like over it. I sorted out all the trucks and cars, put those in one box. I put all the train tracks in another box. But then there's like some little odds and ends, like crappy McDonald's toys and stuff that they just don't care about. So, see ya.
Whatever. Why are you hitting me?
I'm not hitting you, I was patting you.
Oh, okay. Call the police. My wife is hitting me. No.
I'm not like an Amazon woman, I don't think.
Like striking your husband.
Watcha.
So, excuse me. I know it's wonderful podcast stuff. I'm yawning. Did you yawn too?
Yeah. Do you remember the last time we were like, hey, let's put a structure on this thing? And then here we are.
Here we are yawning
not doing
all
that.
over the place.
I know.
Just yawning and drinking beer and yawning.
It's not a bad place to be, though.
No.
Honestly.
We're on our porch swing. Yeah, and our kids are napping. Did we mention that?
They're napping.
At least for now. I don't want to...
I have, like, some nail polish over there. I could paint my nails. I could get my hair did.
No.
No?
They don't nap that long. So, in fact, they'll probably wake up as we're doing this. I'm just going to say. Like, it never works out perfectly. We're not going to get through something.
Way to be positive there.
I'm a little pessimistic sometimes.
Yeah.
Have I been grumpy?
Are you being grumpy?
Have I been grumpy lately?
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand, though, like, why you might be on edge. There's testing going on at school. There was other stuff happening.
Well, the testing doesn't bother me. Right? The kids, so in New Mexico, we have to take not we, but, like, students have to take a competency test, I guess, in order to graduate, called the PARCC. PARCC. I don't know what it stands for, but New Mexico is one of, I think, 4 states or 5 states that require this test for graduation.
People in crappy competency?
I have no idea.
That's what it stands for? I'm just kidding, I have no idea.
Who knows? But yeah, they did English 2 weeks ago. This last week they did math. So they're done with PARCC. And then, as PARCC testing is going on, I have to either be in a classroom, an empty classroom, because they test all freshmen at once and all sophomores at once and all juniors at once. So I have groups of freshmen. So if they're all testing, I'm just in an empty classroom, so I'm like catching up on grading. But I also have to have the job of proctoring the tests, which means like basically just overseeing the test, which is fine with me. It's easy. Like PARCC week is easy. It's not very productive. Like it's not productive at all, actually.
It's not like teaching wise.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like one of those signs that the summer's coming. PARCC testing's happening. Summer's coming up. So,
one thing we did with our kids this morning that I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
We sat out here and we let them paint at the picnic table, and they all did their own little painting projects.
Yeah,
it was really fun for everybody. I had fun.
Yeah, that's a blast. I mean, Luke loves painting,
and
it's really sad too because we were talking about this morning. He goes to an APS school, and his kindergarten teacher said, we have to alternate years with the fine arts. So this year's a music year, so Luke will not get his kindergarten class won't get art, but next year that group of kindergartners will get art, but they won't get music because they have to alternate because of funding.
Which is so sad to me because I feel like that's where kids like are ignited and inspired. Maybe not everybody, but they get a taste for the things that they eventually are going to be passionate about. And like I grew up having art literacy. Like we had a parent. It's like they would come in, they would volunteer, they would check out the little slideshows about the different artists from the libraries, and then they would show us the slides and talk a little bit about each painting on the slide, tell us why it was famous, why it was important, why the artist painted it, and then we do a little art project after. And that was always like something I really got excited about.
Where did you go to elementary school? Was it Portland Public Schools or was
Lake Oswego Public Schools? Does
Lake Oswego have they have their own district or what?
Yeah. So I went to kindergarten in West Linn, Oregon, at Sunset Elementary.
So I'm not super familiar with that. So West Linn is
right next to Lake Oswego, right next to Oregon City. It's
okay.
Kind of in the middle. It's like Lake Oswego.
What side of the river is it? Because there's the Willamette River, right? That goes down?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's by the Columbia.
Columbia is north. Way north. Isn't it?
No. Okay. Here's Lake Oswego. Okay. West Linn is right here, and then Oregon City is over here on the other side of the river.
Okay.
So Lake Oswego and West Linn are like right here, and then there's the river, and then there's Oregon City.
So
you can't see my hands, guys.
Lindsay's hand signing it. So.
But yeah, I went to kindergarten in West Linn.
Google it.
At Sunset Elementary School.
Is it still there?
Yes, and my teacher's name was Miss Shields. She was my kindergarten teacher. She used to do my hair in the mornings because my dad would try, but he wasn't great at it. My mom was in Seattle with my brother. He had cancer. He was at the hospital in Seattle getting treatment. So my dad would try to do my hair, and was a hot mess. And so my kindergarten teacher would redo it before class, like she'd braid it or...
I know what that's like. I tried to do Juliet's hair. I mean, she doesn't have much hair, but I tried to put a little clippy in her hair to get her bangs out of her face, because her bangs are like... It's so funny, because if you don't put her bangs out of her face, they just hang down.
Yeah.
Like to her nose, and she's
kid.
been constantly boogery. So her hair will like stick to her little booger nose. But no, I tried to put the clip in. I thought it looked fine.
Booger bangs.
But when we went to church, and when I picked her up from the
nursery,
there was so one of the nursery ladies just loves Juliet. And she fixed up her hair really good with the clip, and it looks really good.
She has a daughter who's older, so she knows what to do.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but anyways, like, yeah, it was interesting how she, fixed my mistake.
Yeah. But you tried, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
So I went to elementary school from 1st through 6th grade at River Grove Elementary in Lake Oswego. It's
in between Westland and Lake Oswego.
It's in River Grove, but River Grove is now part of Lake Oswego, so more or less it's Lake Oswego. And then I went to middle school at Waluga Junior High, which is now Lake Ridge Junior High.
I love all those names in Oregon.
Waluga.
Lake Oswego.
We were the Waluga Warriors. We had a Native American mascot, which is pretty funny considering we were all a bunch of white kids. Mm-hmm. There's Native Americans in the area, I guess, a long time ago, but...
Probably still. I mean, there's reservations like all over, up and down the coast.
Down in Lake Oswego.
But no, up and down the Oregon coast there are.
Yeah. Well, so I took you to that park, to Cook Park. Mm-hmm. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. On the waterfront? Mm-hmm. And it had all the obsidian rocks.
So I've been to Portland twice. This was the first time.
Yeah.
When we lived in Missouri, we lived in Moberly, Missouri. This was 2009, I think. 2010. You're right. And we flew from Kansas City? No.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah. We flew from St. Louis to Seattle, and we took like a little prop plane from Seattle to Portland. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember you taking me to that park, yeah.
Yeah, so that park is notorious for, there's like these little obsidian arrowheads that wash up on the shore.
Yeah, it's a volcanic area.
Yeah, and so, I mean, yeah, you can find arrowheads and stuff, but... Yeah, so and then I went to Lake Ridge High School, which apparently is like a whole new building now. Like, I probably wouldn't recognize it, but, yeah. And then my dad growing up, he went to the rival schools he went to Lake Oswego Junior High and...
So you went
Lake Grove Elementary.
You went to Oregon schools from kindergarten through 11th grade?
1st grade.
Huh?
1st grade through...
You didn't have kindergarten?
No, kindergarten was in Westland.
But you went to schools in Oregon.
Oh, in Oregon, yes.
From kindergarten through the 10th grade? Mm-hmm. And then you started your junior year here.
Yeah, 11th and 12th was New Mexico. Mm-hmm.
Albuquerque Public Schools.
Yep. I was so mad, too, because we moved here that summer. Mm-hmm. We moved in July, and I had, like little bit of, like, a month, maybe, of summer, and then we had to start school again. And I was like, it's August. This is summer.
Yeah.
What the hell are you people doing going to school?
How old were your parents when you guys moved from there to here?
Dear Lord, I have no idea.
You don't know how old they were?
No. I want to say my mom was like 36, 37.
Interesting. That's cool. But,
no, she had to have been older than that. I don't know. But yeah, I went to Oregon Public Schools and...
You enjoyed it?
I guess. I mean, I didn't really have anything to compare it to until now, so...
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I had a blast. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, the funding thing was kind of, that was a little bit discouraging to hear, like, oh, you alternate the things. Okay, whatever, I guess. Like, we need to figure this out somehow. Find some money or whatever.
Ironic, because we put a lot of money into, like, tax money and stuff into, like, art, like public art for the city, and yet we don't fund it in our schools. Like, that's kind of
somewhat weird. I know people get really...
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's ironic that we don't fund it in our schools like we should, and yet we fund it publicly. Like, it's...
No, I know. I was going to say somewhat as far as, like, the public art. Mm-hmm. People get really weird about, like, publicly funding art in Albuquerque. Because, I don't know. A lot of people in Albuquerque, like, the idea that I get is that they don't like... us to buy things with our tax money or make our city look nice. That's an economic term, by the way. It's called a positive externality. Mm-hmm. So positive externalities are like art projects or like landscaping on a median or something like that.
The way you brand things too. For example, like I'm looking on Etsy and I'm looking at perfume, right? I've never smelled these
But
perfumes.
that's not like a...
No, but listen.
That's a little bit different.
But listen.
No.
I'm looking at these 2 perfumes and I'm looking at the branding, and the packaging on one is like far more appealing than the other, and so I choose that one, even though the other one may smell better, but I don't know.
Okay. But the externalities are like for buildings and places, and like if you live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of landscaping, the house values are going to go up. Or if you live in and there's negative externalities too. So like if you have a lot of if you live in a place where there's a lot of, you know, broken down, run down buildings, or if like there's just like a dirt median with weeds all over the place, that's a negative externality. So anyways, like I don't know if people in Albuquerque really like tax money being spent on art. I don't know.
Then again, what do they want it spent on? Like
I think they just want it to be saved. Like maybe it's like a split city. Like some people like, you know, we want to improve Albuquerque. We want more funding to go towards schools. We want more funding to go towards, you know, public things like our roads, you know, we want bike lanes. We want all these other things that our tax dollars, we want them to pay for, is, you know, these things that make our city nicer. Art, I think, is nice. I remember those Native American pots, those giant pots they put in the middle of the median on the freeway. When they installed those, a lot of people got really pissed off, and I think they're nice. I think they're all right, but some people got really hurt.
Well, they're redoing some of the siding on the freeway too, like with more artistic stuff as you're driving, and I think that's nice too. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah. And those big concrete barriers, those are like soundproofing for neighborhoods, because we live, you know, we probably live a good mile and a half away from the freeway, but we can hear the freeway because, I mean, we live right between I-20, right pretty much close to I-25 and I-40, so we have a lot of noise. But as far as funding goes, for schools, my high school, we had to deal with cutbacks too. Our budget was like a big crisis last year. They were talking about getting rid of, you know, the number of teachers we had. So they told us like, hey guys, if you're not tenured, you know, we want to keep you, we love you guys, but like we might have to get rid of a teacher or two. We ended up working that out, but they did, and this is one thing that pissed me off, they did cut our wood shops, our metals class, our auto shop, our computer-aided drafting, all of our trade stuff. They cut, and I work in a school that's in the war zone, right? Like quote unquote war zone, where these kids, a lot of these kids are
skills and trade working families. Yeah,
they're you know, it's a high poverty area. It's a lot of these kids are not going to go to college because they don't want to, or they might not have the capabilities as far as, you know, because I'm in special education, so a lot of them do have disabilities, learning disabilities, where they honestly they just won't be able to do college, but they can do like a trade. So our funding cut all of those programs, which I thought was a huge blow. And it's really sad that these sort of things are happening in New Mexico and Albuquerque, where education is, you know, it's 50th in the country officially. Like, we're worst for graduation rates.
You know what they should be funding towards?
What's that?
Parenting classes.
Yeah, I encounter some parents who are not the greatest, but
speaking of that, do you want to talk about what happened at your school this last week?
Oh yeah, sure. So, if you're not from Albuquerque, you might not have heard, but at the school I work at, there was, you know, there's a road close by to the school where the kids get picked up and dropped off. And you know, they were getting ready to get, you know, picked up. The bell rang. Our bell to end the day to release the kids rings at 2:25 in the afternoon, and the bell rang. Kids were walking towards either their buses, or they were, you know, just hanging out after school, kind of, you know, doing what high school kids do. And at about 2:30, so it was about 5 minutes after the bell rang, I heard my principal on the loudspeaker, and he's like, we are on a lockdown. This is not a drill. We are on lockdown. And he said it again. We are on lockdown. So I was like, oh crap, what the hell is going on? Because I knew, you know, if we do drills, they're pre-planned. All the teachers know. we let the kids know like there's going to be that it's a drill, so we don't have to freak them out, right? They don't need to be terrified. But this was legit. This was real. So I was not in the science building where I usually am. I was walking towards the front desk in a different building. I was in the main building of the high school I work at. So I didn't have my classroom, but there was kids everywhere in the hall, and I was just thinking the worst. I was like, okay, I was rounding up kids, and I was getting them into the nearest classroom, which was one of the social studies teacher's classrooms, and he wasn't there yet. But I had about 7 kids in the classroom, and we were just in lockdown. I told them, get in this corner away from the window. I closed the blinds. The teacher whose room it was, he finally came around. He was like he's an older gentleman, and he was taking a while to get there, but he finally got there. We closed the door. Everybody was silent. I was checking the news at that time. I texted you that we were on a lockdown. I didn't know what was going on, and we were just silent, sitting in there for about 20-30 minutes, just wondering what the heck is going on. Finally, my principal came on the loudspeaker. He says, "We are still in lockdown. Want to let you know we'll still be here probably about 15 more minutes, and then I'll give you more details at that time." Lockdown was released, finally got out, and then I started talking to a couple of the teachers, and we found out that it was one of the parents who was in a custody battle with another person that was there. I guess I don't know exactly the details. I know it was a custody battle.
They were doing a custody exchange, and it was the mom and the new boyfriend and the father of the child who was estranged from the mom.
So I guess one of them pulled out a baseball bat. The other one, and he was like hitting the hood of a car with the baseball bat. One from the footage that I saw. The other one pulled out a lead pipe, and they were like,
these are just things that you have in your car.
Yeah.
If you're a good, upstanding citizen.
Exactly.
I guess.
And they were just gonna, they were gonna throw down, and they started to have at it. One of them decided, hey, I need to get rid of this pipe because this is not doing me that great. I need my gun. He got his gun out, fired 4 shots, hit the other parent in I think
the hand.
Yeah, it was the hand, and the other one was like in the leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
they're non-fatal, but
yeah, and then I guess he's gonna be okay, I guess. But the other 2 bullets went flying like towards campus as the kids were released. So luckily, no kids were hurt.
Well, not to mention the child was in the car. It was a 9-year-old who was in the car witnessing all of this.
Right. So it's this kind of crap that just happens, and
sheer and utter stupidity.
Yeah, it was really maddening, angering, frustrating. Yeah, to hear about these sort of things. Like, I know, man, like that sucks. So you have to go through a custody battle. I know,
but
like
now you're not getting custody of anything because you're an idiot.
I know that these things are terrible. Like, to deal with a family that's apart, and like the jealousy that goes through somebody's head to think about, like, oh, you no longer love me and you're with somebody else, and sometimes anger, will kick in, and your primal brain will take over. But that's not an excuse to do something so,
rash.
Yeah.
It's considered a crime of passion.
Yeah. So, anyways, that sucked, and I was a little bit discouraged about that. And then also when you were explaining to Luke, he was like totally understanding. He's like, oh yeah, I know what a lockdown is. We've done that before. Mm-hmm. And they were in a lockdown. I remember his little elementary school, there was an apartment complex close by, and there was some other, shenanigans happening next to his school, and he was on a lockdown for a while.
The guy had a warrant, and he barricaded himself into the apartment.
Yeah. So
across the street from our kids' school.
So that sort of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on lockdown one other time, once or twice.
Twice, I think.
The other time was at a middle school I worked at. There was a armed robbery at a gas station right next to. And these things, man, I'm such in denial a lot of the times about Albuquerque with the crime. I think to myself, this is happening everywhere. It's always been like this. But I was thinking back, I'm like, this has not always been like this. I don't think Albuquerque has always been the violent city that it is right now. And I don't even like calling it a violent city, because I feel bad even saying that, but I have to come to terms and figure out what am I going to do to help remedy this. I mean, is there anything I can do to help? But
Well, it's a hard choice because we're cut down the middle. It's like, do we help our city get better and hope that people figure it out, you know, by like staying and being a good example, or do we do what we have to do for our kids, which means, you know, making some tough decisions? I don't know.
Yeah. But for me, like the hardest thing in the past couple weeks is coming to terms with, man, maybe I'm in denial about my city. Maybe there is some problems. These problems need to be fixed. And yes, Albuquerque is a violent city right now. Like, these things are happening.
And I hate when people say, "Oh, it happens everywhere," because it does. I get that. It's not that it doesn't, and that we are like thinking that somewhere over the rainbow there's a better city where there's no crime. Yeah. Like, I get that there's crime everywhere, but the mentality of the criminal activity here seems to just be very impulsive, and that's what's scary.
Yeah.
It's not like people pre-planning these crimes for a specific like purpose, or like these are a lot of times crimes that are acted out in a very hasty, very thoughtless manner. I'm not saying there's such a good thing as I can't talk. I'm not saying that crime is a good thing. I'm just simply saying that people here tend to be like hair trigger. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of them are property crimes.
Yeah.
And that
they're really brazen.
These are all crimes. Like, there's a lot of bank robberies. There are a lot of crimes that are triggered, I think, from desperation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a desperate situation. Like, I have a life where I can't pay my bills. I can't buy food. I'm on these government assistance, and it doesn't give you an excuse to rob a bank or
no. But they're thinking
to break into a house or
I'm going to do for me and mine, and forget you and yours. Like, I need to do what I need to do, and if you happen to be home when that happens, then you're SOL.
I wonder how much like major drug use comes down to somebody just saying, "Man, life just sucks," and I just like this hit of meth or cocaine or heroin or whatever it is giving me this euphoria for a little bit to get me out of my shitty situation for just a second. I wonder how much drug use comes out of that just desperation, like, man, this sucks. I don't know. And it's just like a chain of events in crime, you know what I mean? Like, you can't afford your drugs, you lose your kids, families break up.
Because of drugs, so you do drugs to make yourself feel better about that.
And then people are stealing to buy the drugs. The kids in this whole picture are being left out. They're not being parented. They're not being loved. They're not being nurtured. They go to school with a chip on their shoulder, not able to learn. Like, there's a thing in education that we have to take care of Maslow's hierarchy before we can take care of. There's another triangle.
The educational one.
There's a pedagogy one. I can't remember what it is. Like, take care of Maslow before you can take over whatever the other guy's name in pedagogy. I need to know that because I should know his name. I can't remember. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if somebody's if there's a kid who isn't clothed or fed or sheltered, like, they're not going to learn because they have to deal with those.
Their stomach's rumbling, and
they have to deal with those things.
Where their next meal might
or if their dad's addicted to drugs and, you know, mom's strung out or whatever it is, like, you can't learn when you're thinking about these things.
We also can't focus on doing homework at home when you have, like, abuse going on, or, like, you're taking care of your siblings because you have a single parent and they're working, like, 3 jobs. Like,
for sure.
There's too much going on at home for these kids to be able to succeed at school.
Yeah, and I see it too often. I can tell when there's a kid who, you know, isn't getting any sleep, or, you know, is wearing dirty clothes, or you know, is distracted. You know, I see that a lot. Kids that are distracted. You know, you might think, oh, did you break up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever? And I'm like, no, these are deeper issues. You know what I mean?
Well, they're not issues that a 15, 16-year-old should have to cope with.
But it happens way, way often.
Yeah, I saw a kid yesterday at the grocery store. He was putting my groceries in the bag, and I said, how are you today? And he said, I am really tired. And I said, well, at least you're honest. And he said, I've been working 30 hours and I'm going to school. And I was like, oh, are you going to UNM? And he said, no, ma'am, I go to high school. And I said, we're almost there. And I asked him, you know, what high school do you go to? And he said, the Cueva, which is where I went and graduated from. But I was like, the fact that, and it's an upper middle class school, and so obviously they have a lot more privilege than a lot of other schools in Albuquerque. But I was like, man, the fact that this kid is like working 30 hours and about to graduate, like for Albuquerque, he's already ahead in life. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, like, you keep up the work ethic, kid. Like, it's just because that's not a norm for kids in the city.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, even the expectation of him working 30 hours and graduating is like, for a lot of kids, that's not real.
Oh,
Riley's awake.
Parenting pause?
Yes, let's parent pause that.
Okay. We'll parent pause.
Time's over.
Riley's a bear when he wakes up from his naps.
We will be back after we visit the bear cave.
All right. Be back. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
And we're on a thunderstorm warning.
Severe.
Yeah. I was checking out the radar. We moved from outside to inside because the wind is picking up pretty badly.
My contacts feel like crazy.
Yep. Kids are occupied with things that are not TV because we're trying to do less screen time and more hands-on activities and playing with actual toys. You know, Juliet likes that little tiger thing. She pushes it around.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been trying to give her that because she kind of likes the tiger. But anyways, what were we talking about? Crime and stuff. I think we should move on.
Yeah, probably. Oh, gosh. It's like there's dust in my eyes. I'm sorry. You're so like high maintenance for a dude.
I'm so high maintenance for a dude.
You are.
How do dudes usually behave?
Not like that.
Okay. Yeah, we've been on a pretty intense drought. Like,
we need rain,
bad drought. So this one, I heard about this in a couple of different rivers, but they're drying up. In Durango, I think there's a river. Diego's licking his self, and he makes weird grunting noises while he does it. Diego's our dog.
Yeah, we're not like
not a child of ours. But as he cleans his little
body,
he like grunts and he makes weird noises, and it's kind of weird.
I just checked a pillow at him, and it did not deter him from
No, he's going to town.
His objective.
Yeah, he's gonna accomplish whatever he's
set out to do.
Yeah. But there's rivers that are drying up. Like the what's the deal?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I hope it's dirt.
So the Rio Grande is dried up before Bosque del Apache with National Wildlife Refuge. So that's not good.
So that's not good.
It's not good. Like, we're on intense drought. It's just not. It's, you know, in the springtime is the worst because it's dry. It's typically dry. The springtime is a dry part of.
Spring is also incredibly windy.
Yeah.
All the time.
See, that's the thing. It's like perfect conditions for fire.
Yeah.
So it's low humidity. It's high winds.
Speaking of which, I feel like maybe our neighbor across the street is from out of state because he had like this giant bonfire in his yard the other day, and I was like, dude, you are gonna catch the whole neighborhood.
And it was like crazy.
On fire.
It was crazy windy that day. He does big bonfires pretty frequently.
I know, but I'm like, dude, do you know where you live?
It's by himself too. He doesn't have anybody over.
Well, I went and introduced myself, and his name is Mitch, and that's all I know.
Mitch, the bonfire guy.
Yeah, Mitch, the bonfire bro from not here, I don't think.
Yeah.
That plane is flying pretty low. The wind must be really crazy.
Are you just looking at things and talking about them?
I love lamp. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yep.
Oh, here comes a toddler.
She wants something.
She probably is hungry.
Don't let her see you.
Did she sleep through lunchtime?
Her sight is based on movement. Don't let her see you.
Oh my gosh, she's not a T-Rex. We've been through this.
Yeah. So I'm teaching my kids about dinosaurs. Well, Luke too, but like the students at my school. And so I was looking up accurate photos and like drawings, not photos, but like drawings of what T-Rex might have looked like. So some people think that T-Rex was feathered.
Yeah, I heard that.
And one drawing of T-Rex was definitely not intimidating at all. It was like a black feathers all over the place and like a buzzard's head.
That
and
sounds disgusting.
It was like a pink like skin, no feathers on his head.
Ew.
And I was like, that
Sounds
just
nasty.
does not look like the cool Jurassic Park T-Rex that I grew up to know and love. But I don't
I
know.
think we're gonna laugh at ourselves someday, like in the science community, when they realize that dinosaurs didn't look the same way that we have portrayed them forever, and then they're gonna.
No, they already are.
They're like, these are so wrong. You guys are all
So
idiots.
the raptors that are in Jurassic Park, they were actually a lot smaller and they were feathered. And Diego is definitely still going to town.
Can you stop?
He is.
I don't want to know.
He's not even joking around.
Okay, gross. Stop it.
But yeah, they were feathered. So,
Good
so there's that. I've been watching this YouTube. What do you call it? This YouTube channel. It's a PBS. It's like Eons or something like that. Let me just pull it up. And it's really cool because they talk a lot about dinosaurs and ancient stuff. And but if I find it, I'll mention it. But that's where they were talking about the Velociraptor or raptors in general. Raptors. Oh, here it is. It's called. It's okay to be smart. No, that's not it. It's a PBS thing.
Okay.
It's a PBS thing. Oh, it's called Eons. Yeah, PBS Eons. So yeah, it's a really cool YouTube channel that talks about dinosaurs and stuff. But anyways, I think we're kind of dwindling. Was there? And then our daughter's here. So, and it's dinner time.
It is dinner time.
So I mean, we're parents first. Then we're other
like
things.
Podcasters, like 60 seconds.
Yeah, podcasters are like, it's not our deal.
And she's crying. So let's
Um,
wrap this up.
all right, let's wrap it up. I guess.
Is there? Podcast we've ever made.
No, I think it's okay. I'm tired.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
I mean, I did have a couple of drinks.
I just want to
last night,
up
so
and watch a movie with you and like
That sounds like fun.
just
I want to find out.
maybe have a back massage
Yeah.
happen because that'd be awesome too.
Yeah, maybe we should take advantage of YouTube TV if we, in case we decide to cancel it.
Scrap it. It's good stuff. It's just we're trying to. Be
It's just expensive.
it's one more thing we're paying for, which we
Yeah.
don't need to pay for. So
Yeah.
let's not.
So. I don't
Although
know.
I have to say, I started season 2 of
Handmaids.
Yes.
Is it good?
Holy crap! It's so.
I wish I could have gotten into that with you. I watched like the first episode. Maybe I'll rewatch the first season or something.
You should, because it gets pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good. It's well done.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay.
Did you want to say what you're listening to?
I do. Let me
Okay.
see. I gotta pull it up because, per the usual, I don't have it ready as of right now.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands, actually, that I like a lot, did a rendition of MGMT's Electric Feel,
Oh yeah.
which was kind of awesome. And I was like, Coast Modern.
Ah.
Yeah, they did a version of Electric Feel, and I was like, this is wonderful. So yes, I've been listening to some Coast Modern. I've been listening to a band called Foreign Air. And then where's the other one? Lord Huron has a new album. I haven't checked it out too much yet.
It's pretty good.
I've also been listening to.
It's called
Grace Mitchell.
Vide. Is it Vide Noir or Vide Noir?
Vide Noir.
Vide Noir from Lord Huron.
Yeah.
We'll be right there, sweetie.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with music. I mean, nothing too crazy. My hip hop song lately that I've been playing on repeat, since I'm such a gangsta, is Power Glide by Ray Stremmerd. It's ridiculous.
Cool.
It's definitely not appropriate for children. Therefore, I put it on repeat at the gym or when I'm not with my children.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
When it's not appropriate for children. So I've been listening to, I'm trying to get into the new Under Oath. It's called Erase Me. It's been interesting.
Okay.
Not sure if I love it or like it. I mean, it's good, but I'm just giving it, the rotations to see if I like it.
See if you're into it.
But I've really been listening to Hearts Like Lions. I mentioned those on the last podcast,
Yeah, you did.
but I like them. And then there's another band called Boston Manor, and they're kind of like punk rock, sort of like hardcore, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really good, Boston Manor. And then I started listening to this band called Pup. The album is called The Dream Is Over, and it's really like a punk rock revival sort of deal. Like this album I think was released this year, but it's pretty punk rocky.
Your daughter's feeling a little punk rock.
Yeah, I guess. Wait, is it punk rocky or is it more like a?
It's progressive kind of.
Yeah. So, anyways, you guys have a good weekend. We're gonna take care of our daughter, and we're gonna feed our kids and take care of them and love them. I am going to cue the music. There it is.
Love yourself, love your city.
All right. Peace.